Imagine waking up in a world where lies spread like wildfire, while the truth is buried under layers of deception. A world where those who dare to challenge the narrative are silenced, ridiculed, or ignored. Now, ask yourself, is this fiction or is it our reality? What happens when critical thinking is abandoned in favor of blind obedience? The answer to this chilling question comes from Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a theologian and resistance fighter who lived through one of history's darkest times. He recognized a dangerous phenomenon that wasn't just about ignorance, but something far more sinister: the active refusal to think critically. He called it the theory of stupidity, and today, it is more relevant than ever. In this script, we'll explore how fear, manipulation, and social conformity work together to prevent independent thought, keeping us trapped in cycles of misinformation. Get ready for a deep dive into a concept that will challenge your perceptions of truth, freedom, and responsibility. Picture this. You're in a room full of people gathered around a table. In front of you lies a simple card with an image. The instructions are clear. Observe the image and describe what you see. At first, everything seems straightforward. The card clearly depicts a tree, but as the discussion begins, something strange happens. Some people call it a mountain, others insist it's a river. You're confused. You know what you see, but the more people argue for their version, the more doubt creeps in. And when you finally speak up, pointing out the obvious, you're met with silence, or worse, rejection. Does this scenario sound familiar? In today's world, truth is often dismissed, twisted, or ignored in favor of more convenient narratives. Whether in politics, media, or everyday life, we see people clinging to falsehoods even when the truth is glaringly obvious. But why? Why do so many choose to live in a distorted reality, rejecting facts even when they're undeniable? This question has troubled thinkers for generations. Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrestled with it during his time in Nazi Germany, a society where propaganda ruled and questioning the regime could cost you your life. He saw intelligent, educated people blindly following dangerous ideologies, not because they were uninformed, but because they had been conditioned to avoid questioning authority. From his reflections, Bonhoeffer concluded that stupidity isn't just an intellectual failure, it's a psychological and social phenomenon. It's not simply not knowing the truth, it's choosing not to know or, worse, being manipulated into a state where questioning isn't even an option. Stupidity, Bonhoeffer argued, isn't just an individual flaw, it spreads like a virus, infecting entire societies. It thrives where people are discouraged from thinking for themselves, where fear, propaganda, and ideology suppress independent thought. Think about the world today. We are bombarded with an overwhelming amount of information. Social media, 24-hour news cycles, influencers, political figures. Everywhere we turn, someone is shaping the way we think. But instead of critically analyzing information, many people take what they hear at face value. They believe what's convenient, what aligns with their existing views, or what the majority accepts. And once enough people accept a falsehood, it becomes reality regardless of the facts. The real danger of stupidity emerges when it aligns with authority. When leaders lack critical thinking, they make disastrous decisions. Worse, when citizens refuse to question authority, they become complicit in those decisions. This phenomenon has been studied extensively. Take the 1951 Asch conformity experiment, for example. Participants were asked to compare the lengths of lines in a simple visual test. But in the experiment, most of the group was instructed to give the wrong answer. What happened? A staggering 75% of participants conformed to the incorrect majority at least once, despite knowing it was wrong. This experiment proves that under social pressure, people are disturbingly willing to abandon what they know to be true. Sound familiar? How often do we see people blindly accepting political rhetoric, social trends, or outright misinformation just because it's popular? We're conditioned to fear standing alone, even when the truth is obvious. The battle against stupidity is not about intelligence or education. It's about mindset. Even the most educated people can fall into the trap of blind conformity if they refuse to think critically. So, how do we break free? 1. Encourage critical thinking. We must actively question everything, from news articles to social media trends to political promises. It's easy to accept information that aligns with what we already believe, but true wisdom comes from challenging our own assumptions. Who benefits from this message? Who profits from this belief? What evidence supports it? Asking these questions is the first step toward intellectual freedom. 2. Take responsibility for your beliefs. It's tempting to go along with the crowd, but true independence means taking responsibility for what you believe. This means admitting when you're wrong, reconsidering long-held ideas, and refusing to be swayed by emotional manipulation. Truth isn't about what's comfortable, it's about what's real. 3. Resist groupthink. There's safety in numbers, but also danger. Just because an idea is popular doesn't mean it's right. History is filled with examples of mass movements built on lies, from oppressive regimes to cult-like ideologies. The ability to stand alone in the pursuit of truth is one of the most powerful traits a person can develop. 4. Question. Authority, even when it's uncomfortable. Powerful institutions rely on blind compliance. Governments, corporations, media, they all benefit when people accept information without question. Bonhoeffer knew this firsthand. He refused to submit to Nazi ideology, and for that, he paid the ultimate price. But his legacy teaches us that moral courage is more important than blind loyalty. The war against stupidity isn't won with more information. It's won with independent thought. In today's world, where misinformation spreads faster than ever, the ability to think critically is no longer just a skill. It's a form of resistance. So the question remains, will you choose to conform, or will you choose to think? If this message resonates with you, leave a comment below, writing, "Stupidity is a mental block, a refusal to think critically." Show your commitment to breaking free from the cycle of blind conformity. And if you believe in the power of independent thinking, subscribe for more content that challenges the status quo. The choice is yours. Think wisely.